Hi folks, Christy, your flute coach here. One of the number one questions or problem areas that new members highlight when they join the flute coach is when it comes to playing some of the lowest and the highest notes on the flute. Now, being able to play over the entire note range of the flute with beautiful, consistent sound is a must. And so today I'm going to share with you some techniques that will help you nail those notes first time, every time. Now, briefly, the range of notes playable on the flute are divided into 3 registers or note groups, and they're imaginatively called the low, the middle, and the high register. And each register of notes has this characteristic type of tone color. So the lowest notes you could describe as being warm and rich. The middle register notes are brighter and more vibrant, and the highest register notes are shrill and soaring. Now, to maintain a good quality sound across all of them, we actually need to make really subtle modifications to the shape and size of our embouchure. So that's our mouth, all the muscles and the teeth and the jaw, and that in turn helps to modify the direction and the speed of our air. So stay tuned, I've got some simple hints for each register that I know will help make a big difference to the quality of your tone in each of them. So we'll tackle the low one first. So for the low register notes, the angle of air is directed more so towards the ground. So we're going diagonally down. And when you're playing your flute, you want to be approximately aiming for your left elbow there as you hold your flute. So to shape your embouchure to direct that air that way, we need to keep the back teeth open to create this large, nice resonant cavity for that sound to be produced and ring out. And the top lip can actually overhang the bottom lip slightly, and that will help to channel that air downwards. Now the bottom lip can be pulled back slightly flatter against the teeth so that there's a nice smooth edge to blow across. Now compared to the top 2 registers, the airspeed for the low one is relatively slower. So to slow that airspeed down, we don't actually give less breath support or use less air as such, but we can make the aperture slightly larger than the higher registers, and this in turn naturally slows the airspeed down. So this is my low embouchure shape. I'm going to try and show you. We'll see how we go here. So the top lip is overhanging the bottom slightly to channel that air down. So if I put my hand down near my elbow, I can actually feel the air down there. So some common problems with this low register is that a lot of people actually use too much or too fast air, which can result in overblowing the note. So there's a natural limit as to how loud you can play the low register notes. You need to experiment and kind of find what that limit is for you so you don't play past it and those notes crack up an octave. Now the middle register, the angle of the air tilts up slightly. So to do this, we now need to reshape the embouchure again. And we do this by moving the corners of our lips and the inner wet part of our lips slightly, ever so slightly forward, almost as if you're about to kiss someone, but we won't be actually puckering them across the embouchure hole because that will stop the flow of the air. And by doing this, by moving the corner of your lips and the lips slightly forward, we actually naturally compress the aperture shape from a more elliptical shape in the lower register to a slightly smaller O shape like that. Slightly more. And it's slightly smaller, and this means we naturally speed the air up. Ta-da, magic, that's what we need. Slightly higher and slightly faster air. So you'll notice that some of the note fingerings are actually the same between the low and the middle register. So if you aren't changing any of your finger positions, all the change needs to happen up here. So we'll go from low to the middle register now. So this is my low. Could you see that subtle change from low to middle? So I'm slightly bringing that bottom lip forward and directing that air, tilting it upwards. It can be hard to see, so using a mirror to do this for yourself is really, really helpful. So the highest register is often considered the most challenging. We need an even greater increase in the air speed, and we need really strong support to make these notes sound and not drop away. So make sure that you breathe in deeply during passages of high notes or practicing them, and have a really good playing posture to make sure that you maximize your lung volume and that you can play with that strong sustained air pressure behind the note. So once again, the corners of the lips need to move forward even further into that kiss shape, so we tilt that airflow upwards. And remember, there's no actual puckering of the lips across that embouchure hole. So this motion actually will decrease the aperture overall size again, which naturally increases the speed of our air. Easy, right? It does take a little bit of practice. So one of the common problems of this register is pinching the aperture to make it as tiny as possible, sort of puckering those lips up to try and make that hole in your lips as small as possible and force that air through as quickly as you can. But what this actually does is it fatigues the facial muscles really, really quite quickly, and you'll feel really sore and tired. And it makes the note actually sound quite forced and strangled and small sounding. You'll be able to hear the difference. Instead of it being able to ring out, it'll sound forced and strangled and small and restrained and restricted. So try not to overcompensate for a lack of support and air speed by pinching that aperture closed. So once again, we're moving from the low to the middle to the high by redirecting that air upwards, and the corners of the lips and the inner wet part of the lips moving forward slightly. So from low to middle to high. I hope you can see that. It is a bit tricky. Make sure you get in front of a mirror yourself to try and recognize those subtle changes in your embouchure. So do you need even more help? Are you still not quite getting those low notes to sound full and rich? Are they sounding fuzzy, or they're not sounding at all? Head to my full article on my website. The link is in the video description below, and I've got an 8-point checklist that might just have the one tip that you need to overcome something really simple that might be holding you back. Also included in the article are some exercises that will help improve the flexibility of your embouchure and improve that tone across the range, and it will help you actually leap between high and low notes, and this is of course essential for any flute player. So I hope you've gained some extra knowledge today that you can practically apply in your flute playing and help you sounding gorgeous. I will see you next time. Bye for now.